So I recently watched The Kissing Booth 2. Now I will firstly say that I have never seen The Kissing Booth 1 in full. I have watched clips of it, I've seen reviews on it, and I've seen reactions to it. And all of them didn't really give me the impression that I wanted to waste like an hour and 40 minutes of my time on it. But I saw The Kissing Booth 2 and I just started this YouTube channel, so I was like, okay, I'll watch Kissing Booth 2 and I'll review that. I think from what I've heard and from what I've heard of the first movie and what I've seen of the first movie, this movie was much better in many ways. It was like 2 hours and 14 minutes, and I have to admit I did check the time to see how long I had, like about 5 times during this movie, and it was just like 45 minutes too long if you ask me. But was it fun? I suppose. It was frustrating. You know, this story focused around Elle and Lee, who are best friends, and their families are friends. So, and then they have these rules, and they set up a kissing booth again, and Lee is dating this girl who's getting really sick of them always hanging out together as a three when she just wants to hang out with her boyfriend. Elle's dating Lee's older brother who's in university while she's just a senior in high school, and things are getting difficult because she's kind of giving him space. It was kind of okay. I mean, this wasn't like a terrible, I don't feel like it was as terrible as the first one, and I don't think it was as kind of problematic, I suppose, as the first one. I found every single character quite frustrating in the sense of they felt like they needed to communicate more. And it's fine when you've got a movie and you know are like a plot or a story, and you know there's problems for these people and there's like difficulties that they have to overcome. But when the difficulties are simply they just don't talk to each other, they don't know how to communicate, it does get extremely frustrating. So yeah, it was very frustrating. These are just my random kind of thoughts on this movie. So my first one was Tuppen, is he called Tuppen? Why the hell is this guy allowed to participate in the second time for the kissing booth? In the first movie, this is the part I have seen. It's when Elle walks in with a skirt on because she clearly doesn't own anything else in her wardrobe. I mean, obviously what happened wasn't her fault, but it was such a convenient, you know, I don't know any single child in my life, or anyone my age, who doesn't have a spare pair of trousers or something. And she's like quite a wealthy, like it's not like she's a poor, you know, student. She's got quite a money, and her family's best friends are loaded. They are like multi-billionaires, it seems like. So it feels kind of strange how she wouldn't even have anything other than the most tiniest skirt ever. However, obviously, when she goes into school with that, Tuppen goes and like harasses her. She gets into trouble for it. Tuppen gets completely off the hook. He also nearly goes on a date with her. And then he's allowed to be in the kissing booth. He was freaking creepy. Like, he should have been at least suspended for that. So I don't understand why they're letting him participate. Why is he even in this movie? I would have thought they would have got the kind of lesson from the first one that everyone's like, why has this guy gotten away with this? But yeah, he did, and so that's a great lesson for young people to watch, I guess. What can I say about Marco and Noah? So obviously Elle has a love triangle. She's got, you know, Marco and Noah both kind of vying for affections because Noah's off to Harvard, because of course he is. And yeah, he's hanging out with some new friends or whatever, and one of them's Chloe, who's very pretty and very popular and British, and Elle's jealous. And whilst she's being jealous, she meets Marco, who's a new person who's in her year, so they're the same age in the same school, and I would say they're the much better pair, to be honest. Yeah, Marco, a bit simpy, maybe, but he was probably one of the most likeable people in this movie. And yeah, I I wanted him and Elle to end up together. But of course, it's a Netflix movie, so it's Noah. And I think one of the reasons that I don't particularly like Noah and Elle, obviously for all the kind of creepiness of the last movie, obviously, but on top of that, Noah, the guy who plays Noah, looks minimum 35. And Elle looks, the girl that plays Elle looks like she's the age she's supposed to be. I'm not saying either of them, both of them are very, good looking, attractive people, but just the kind of way that, like, one of them is, like, really, really tall, really kind of looks old, and then the other one is quite small and looks quite young. Nah, and one of them's in uni and the other one's in high school in this movie, and it was a bit weird. I found it just kind of uncomfortable, and it felt more natural and kind of, just kind of better for him to go off to uni and her to kind of get with Marco instead. So about Chloe. Chloe actually was my favourite character in the movie. I, not for a second, didn't like her. And I think it's also, obviously Elle's insecure. And obviously that's understandable. She's a young girl, her boyfriend's in university with all these university chicks. But my God. There's being insecure, and then there's being so insecure that you just are just so annoying. And I think she did kind of go over there. She finds, obviously, she starts to suspect an affair, and I won't spoil whether or not that happens, but I'm sure you can guess if it does or not, being a Netflix movie and all. And, and it just felt so, and without saying if they did have an affair or not, if I found a earring under my non-existent boyfriend's bed, my first thought wouldn't be he's having an affair when I know for a fact that he's friends with, like, females other than me. That wouldn't be my first thought. I would be, well, he's either a thief, which is probably worse than cheating. He's either, like, accidentally picked something up. I lose things all the time. I literally can't find half my school bag half the time. It's in my room somewhere. So, like, I know, like, people lose things and they end up in weird places. Or, she just left it over. Or, I don't know, maybe he likes earrings. Who knows? And, just like the people just taking these leaps, and then it's like, oh, it's okay. And I just was like, oh God. I'm exhausted thinking about it. I thought that Elle was very immature. Elle's decided she doesn't want to go to the same school as her best friend, which is again another rule. But I thought in the last movie, from what I saw, they'd kind of abolished the rules because they realised they were just stupid. And it's fun having rules, I get, like, they were having fun kid writing rules, like do little love hearts on the page and scribbles and stuff. But, like, I feel like they took it way too far. And not only just that, it's like, your families are best friends, right? Your mother's, well, Elle's mother, who passed away, was best friends with Molly Ringwald. And can we just have Molly Ringwald in it? I'd rather she was the main thing. Have a Molly Ringwald kissing booth. Everyone would sign up. Even I would. And, it's like that sort of just annoyance, because they're obviously, Molly Ringwald and Elle's mum, I don't know who Molly Ringwald's character is called, I just know that she's Molly Ringwald. And they were friends, like best friends, one of them died. So there's that kind of, like, Molly Ringwald has a kind of, a kind of motherly, maternal love for Elle. Not only that, they're, like, their families are Thanksgiving together. So it's not as if Elle and Lee's relationship is ever in danger of completely never, it's not like they're in danger of one of them moving away and then them never seeing each other again, like most friendships are really in high school. This is a friendship which is very clearly not going to go away, because it's got that kind of, and it's not like their parents will fall out because Elle's mum sadly passed away. They will always be kind of connected through that. So I don't understand the kind of need for these rules. But whatever, I don't know. And so when you think about it, it just feels very kind of unnecessary. I think that the friendship in this movie was really toxic. And I'll tell you why. The thing about Lee and Elle is that they are so, they don't grow together or apart. They are just constantly around each other. And I think that's fine, you know, if you're best friend with someone, you just hang out with them constantly. But the problem is, they don't mature, and they don't, like, kind of think on, like, they don't grow as people. They just kind of just hang out together. The problem with Elle and Lee is that they don't let each other grow up. They don't like, kind of, are you know, sensible when they think, you want to go to this college, or you're considering going to another one. Okay, that's fine, you're my friend, I want what's best for you, I want whatever you want. And so they have this kind of, okay, we've got to do everything together, we can't be a day apart, you know, and that's not how friendship works. And I don't think that's how friendship from high school to uni or college or whatever you want to do afterward is ever going to work. They have the kind of benefit of their families being connected, but I think, like, most of the time, you can be friends with someone, you can be best friends with someone, and you don't have to see them every day, and you don't have to, you know, you don't have to live next to them, or you don't have to constantly be around their house, or constantly, you know, be in the same school, or be in the same class, or be in the same dormitory or whatever. You can be best friend with someone and just be there for them when they need it. And I think that's what this movie really struggled. They're never there for each other when the other person needs it, really. And they're just, all they do is, it's kind of like they have an emotional crutch on each other. And it's that unwillingness to let the other person kind of go in some ways that makes me think if this was real, they wouldn't be friends at all, at least as soon as, like, you know, they move on, they're in different places, you know. And the thing about, this isn't, I suppose this is a kind of spoiler, but so spoiler alert, in the end, Elle has a choice. She could either tell them both the truth, because she can go to Harvard, which is the school where her boyfriend's at, or she can go to the school where her best friend is going. By the way, her boyfriend and best friend are brothers, but, you know, whatever. And they're also Molly Ringwald's children. But again, this is all, it's all, you don't really care, to be honest, because in the movie, they don't really expand on the fact they're brothers, really. They're just brothers, and they kind of say hi, maybe once. But I felt like it was just, the thing about Elle is she's willing to put her entire future in jeopardy for either her boyfriend or best friend. We don't even know what Elle wants to do, and we don't even know where Elle truly wants to go. Because part of me thinks, she wants to go to Harvard because her boyfriend there. Part of me thinks she wants to go to the other school because her best friend's there. And that's not the way you make decisions as an adult, or as someone who's going into university and becoming an adult. If you're best friend with someone, or if you're dating someone, you can, you know, and if it's proper good friendship or good relationship or whatever, you will be able to cope with being in different schools. Especially at that age, because, you know, very few high school romances work out, and to, you don't need, you know what I mean, it's, they were fine the way they were, like, they were, you know, they got to stay together for a year. I mean, they had ups and downs and all that, but, you know, I'm sure they'll be able to cope with another one, especially when they're both in universities and they can both kind of meet up in certain times. So, yeah, I just think that it's kind of just stupid. It's, everything about this movie is stupid. Would I watch this movie again? No. Never. Not a chance in hell. Will I watch the third one when it comes out? Absolutely. The thing about this movie is, Elle doesn't learn a lesson. Noah who was my least favourite character from what I saw in the last movie, is now kind of okay, even though he was such an immature idiot throughout. Lee, worst boyfriend ever. Rachel, she's there. Chloe, my favourite. Marco, bit of a simp, because he gives $50,000 to Elle so she can go and hang out with her boyf. That is very simpy, actually. That is very, very simpy when you think about it. Yeah. And then, obviously Molly Ringwald is my favourite, but yeah, that's The Kissing Booth 2. I will see you for the next one. Bye.